Hey guys, my name's Cody and I've been coding with the Odin project for 80 days. I'm going to just jump into what I did today. So yesterday I made this landing page, and the landing page has these get started buttons all over it. They're essentially going to take the user to the sign up page. So if you click one of these, it'll take you to this page. This is what I ended up doing today. I set up some inputs that could be generated on this page for actually allowing the user to sign up. So we have an email address, a password, and a confirmation password input. For the email address, I have the required attributes set, so it's going to make sure that the email address is entered, but also it is an email input, so it's going to also make sure that there's an @ within that input. For the passwords, I decided to do a little bit of my own in regards to validating the requirements for the passwords so that they're secure. In order to do this, I actually use state within React. So I have this sign up box, which generates everything in white here. The first thing that we see is states being set for the different rules that I have. So I have 6 rules being set for the passwords, 5 of them for the first password and the last one for the password confirmation. And they follow, special character, lowercase, uppercase, number, one of each of those, and having at least 8 characters, and the passwords have to match for the validation to be successful. So I use these for the rendering down here. Specifically, it's going to come in with the password rules, the PWD rules component, which was something I made to actually generate this right here. So those rules are passed to that component, and within that component I use those rules to create an array with specific messages for each rule. Depending on the status of the rules, I will render different things. So if all the rules statuses are true, which is what we see right here, then I will render back a div that says passwords match and meet requirement. If any of them are false, then it's going to do this down here for the rendering, and it's going to say password requirements, and then it's going to map over that rules and messages array and generate these rules right here. If the rule status is false, then it's going to display the rule. If it's not false, it's not going to actually show the rule. So it's going to return a span because it expects a return for the map. But we have a special case here, and that one's passwords must match. For all the other ones, I have text being added to the front of use at least, since they're all being treated the same way. Passwords match is just sending back that specific message, and then the other ones are going to say use at least with their message specifically. So that's what we have here, and that's what we're going to use those props for. So we go back up here. This password rules will update as the user is entering information, so I'll show you guys what that looks like. So I'm entering an email address. We're not really going to see anything here for that, but we will see stuff for the password. And so we saw those requirements started disappearing as they were being met. And now all the requirements have been met, so passwords match and meet requirements. I tell that to the user. The user can actually click the submit sign up button, and it'll take them to the plans page. If we look over here, this button has an on click event with the function on sign up being run, and that function is up here. This function, it's going to prevent the default form submission from actually happening, so we're not going to see that @ warning come up here if we don't have the email address actually being entered. So if I click this, it's just going to go right to the next page. That's because I have this prevent default from running, so I don't have to enter in information every time I'm doing this for the development side of things. Eventually, once this becomes closer and I'm actually hooking this up to things like Stripe and I'm actually collecting emails and putting them in a database, I'm going to change this a bit. So this is just kind of placeholder stuff for right now. But the main thing here is this navigate function, which I'm taking from this use navigate feature of React Router DOM, and it's going to redirect the URL to the plans page. So that's what we see when we click this. The URL is going to change up here, and it's going to actually render the plans page. The plans page is really just the pricing section within the front page, but it's dedicated to the plans page. So this will be different than that down the line, because it's going to actually take the user to some sort of Stripe portal or payment processing system, and then that'll get them to their dashboard after they actually make a payment. I'm simulating that right now because these buttons are slightly different, so I did something to do that, but let's take a look at the plans page now. So this is, again, very similar to the section, the pricing section on the homepage, and we have these plan cards. But in addition to the plan types, we actually have the button text and path being sent as props to the plan card, and that's because I abstracted our sign up button that I made yesterday. So if we go into the plan card, we'll see that there's this link button component, and that is actually what the sign up button was yesterday. We see those props are being passed to that, so button text and path, and if we go here, we're actually going to see them being utilized within the button. So we have the link with React Router DOM, with the specific path that I want to actually take the user to, and the button text being placed inside of the button. So that's why we have different text here for the two buttons. And so that's simulating if they were actually making this choice. If we go up here, you see this is also one of those link buttons, but it is different path and different text. So if I click on this, it's going to take me back to that page just because I don't have a user state really being monitored right now. But then if I go back to the sign up page and click here and I click on one of these, I have it currently going to the dashboard because that's what I'm going to work on next. That's where the core functionality I think is going to be with this application, because I'm not going to be setting up the pricing and stuff just yet until I have the ability to do that with databases. So I'm thinking this is probably going to be a project that I continue on as I learn like the Node.js section and actually get more familiar with the backend for this JavaScript framework. But there's plenty that I can do from the UI standpoint and from a React standpoint for actually making the dashboard. So that's what I'm going to be working on tomorrow. So that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're interested in following my and Emily's web development journey, again, we're doing these vlogs every day, and we're also doing the weekly update on Fridays. So be sure to subscribe. See you guys tomorrow.